least most of our people are back at work. That was the main thing. Oh wow, why are you both sitting here? And yes, I would like as many guards as we can hire. And then as many infantry, I think. And I'm going to make it so that it's only these two which are the rally points. Oh, and we are losing money again, but that's because we are raising troops. That's fine. I'm happy to go into debt so we can raise our army. Two debaters are arguing heatedly in the qualmy air of the town hall. The audience sits dumbfounded, as words such as aliens, minorities, and ethnic cultural groups are thrown between the two. We want to have full citizenship. Alright, our army is improving quite radically. We are paying 60 in industrial subsidies. That is acceptable. Quite happy to pay subsidies. Particularly while we are trying to get our economy back in place. Mitigate or keep them ignorant. Keep them ignorant. Wow, 1.16 million people wanting to rise up for the anarcho-liberals. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I'd quite happily let them coup us. Communists, not so much. Religious policy. Is that the end of the reactionaries? Yes. Liberal Party is the new ruling party, and they were able to do it on a simple majority. However, we're going to tweak that very slightly. We're going to make you a little more radical. Back to liberalism. Where I'm going to be watching these two very, very carefully. So basically, what this means is the type of goods that your people are consuming. Everything green, or if you have red, that means they're not even getting like basic food supplies. Green is they're getting their food. Blue is they're getting the basic everyday needs. So we can take a look in here to see precisely what those are. So if we went, for example, an Icelandic clerk requires coal, glass, paper, tobacco, tea, liquor, regular clothes, and furniture, and they're getting 82% of those. And then they want their luxuries, which are fuel, coffee, opium, wine, luxury clothes, and luxury furniture. And then the life needs is literally just food. Some more nationalists. We also have another set of things here. I'm going to get trinket subsidies. This might hurt our economy a little bit, but in the long term, it's going to mean that we are somewhat insulated against closing factories. Because clearly some of those less productive factories are being shut down now. You can be made to pay no taxes. You guys are paying the maximum. Which means education spending is probably going to have to go down. Although we're already losing clergymen. Thankfully, social spending is not very high. Military spending can also go to maximum. The more military spending you have, the more officers and soldiers you can recruit from your population. The more people want to become soldiers because basically they get paid better. Alright, so that is the last of the army techs that we were going to do. We could get army risk management for that extra morale and tactics. That might be worth getting just because that is such a powerful technology. Then after that, we're going to go back for industry. Probably clean coal, practical steam engines, get all of these up to scratch where we can. What is up with all these rebels? Oh my gosh. Tensions in Nytungvik and Guangxi. It's clearly ours. Why are you lot not moving down here? Because you darn well should be. Actually, you know what? I'm going to set you as a rally point. I'm going to cancel you as a rally point, and I'm going to have you stationed up there in one cell. And you can be here. There we go. We are losing a huge amount of money. Why? Middle class taxes are way down. That was at one point about 400. I think it's because we've been slowly trashing our middle class and turning them into craftsmen. Getting rid of the artisans. And craftsmen are technically poor. Alright, money can go from the military. You know what? I'm going to try and keep you at 50% if I can. 40%, that'll do. An alliance from Ryukyu. Didn't even realise you were a thing, but okay. No. They will not accept an alliance. Oh, they've switched to... they've become communist. So Scandinavia is now full-on communists. Mordgard is still monarchy. Italy is also. Spain is. Scandinavia is a communist government. Absolute monarchy. HM government. Prussian constitutionalism. Wow. Scandinavia's gone from anarcho-liberal to communist. That is quite literally from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum. That is as far apart as you can possibly be on the economic spectrum. Interesting. From radical, the government has no place in government, in the state economy, to the government has every impact in the state economy. I think it's mostly Scandinavia just having all of these uprisings. I mean, they're having serious problems with rebels, like more so than we are. I wonder how everyone else is doing with rebels. If they've been as big a problem. Probably. Mordgard's having problems in Australia, clearly. Okay, so we're building tons of factories now. That is good. We just need to make sure that we keep people employed. Mobilization size keeps on growing. That's good. A couple of rebels just rose up under our armies. That's probably not a good place to rise. Just saying. Let's get this loan paid off. People are getting poorer and poorer. I don't like this. Unemployment, I think, is going down overall. You have no clerks? Wow. You clearly don't have enough either. And you have too many. You don't have any either. Bloody hell. No wonder we're so inefficient. Oh dear, that's another big uprising. Is Hong Kong being occupied? Not right now. Oh, you know what we're not doing? We're not paying our armies. Make sure we're paying them. I have money. Alright, clean coal. Let's do it. Slightly more communist, slightly more anarcho. No real change though. Interesting. Oh, you were down there. I was like, where is that other army? Aha. One thing I would like to do in Hong Kong is upgrade the fort here. Oh, you're building more railroads. That's fair. Hopefully that improves our industry some more. We are taking more loans, which I don't approve of, but we need the troops because of all the rebels. There's just be one rebel infestation after another. Patriotic society. We'll take the consciousness, thank you. We are taking a lot of debt right now. Scandinavia, Krakatoa explodes. The explosion of Krakatoa volcano and the resultant tsunami left over 36,500 dead in the Dutch East Indies. The sound of the eruption was heard 3,000 miles away at the Rodriguez Island in the Indian Ocean. The explosion had a tremendous global impact, with the sky darkening worldwide for years afterwards, producing intensely red sunsets and other optical effects, as well as global average temperatures dropping by more than a degree Celsius. Oh dear. Let's get the practical steam engine. Unless there's something which, yeah, output tech, let's get that. Because we don't produce many raw materials, we do have to import them. So making our factories more efficient at doing that is probably wise. Why are you not merging automatically? You should be. Dunno. Okay, now we earn a bit of money from tariffs. We'll need to. Middle class is getting absolutely obliterated. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. At least unemployment's right down now. Not having to pay anything out in unemployment benefit. Factories are still being built rapidly, which is very good. I'm keeping half an eye on the infamy counter up there, because we could go and fight some more wars. But honestly, our economy right now is so fragile that I dare not. But if it goes below 0, or if it goes to 0, then it's very inefficient. Let's get scientific management. Business regulations, would you help at all? You would give me more factory cost and tax efficiency. You know what? That would help. Collectivist theory. Yes, that would help. Tax efficiency, big tax efficiency. Yeah, I think we need to invest more in commerce. Because I'm struggling to balance the books right now. Oh, fucking hell. Why are you struggling so much? Unemployment's almost nothing. Unless it's just the artisans not able to sell their goods now because there's so much competition from the factories. That is entirely possible. In which case, there is very little I can do about this because it's just the economy basically shifting. As those artisans are losing the ability to stay as artisans, they get retrained into other jobs. Probably mostly craftsmen. And unfortunately, the state just has to go through a few growing pains while it's doing that. $66,000 still outstanding. I dislike how even with 0% in taxation, the rich are not getting luxuries. That's very Is it because there's a shortage of goods? Cotton, fairly stable. Dyes are in high demand. Fairly stable. High demand. Stable. Low demand. Low demand. Stable. Stable low. Very high demand for rubber. Very high demand for oil. So you can see basically if the line's up, that means that demand is very high because the price is very high. If it's in the middle, then the price doesn't really change. And if it's sunk, then supply... there's too much supply and very little demand. Like steel prices, for example, keep on decreasing. Cement's increasing. Yeah, cement is almost always a good investment. Machine parts went really high, then started overproducing and is now sinking after that. Usually happens because while the factories are being built, the machine parts are in high demand, and as soon as the factories are built and are themselves producing more machine parts, demand falls. Fuel is increasing, probably because automobiles and things are starting to make an appearance. Fertilizer, virtually no demand for it, likewise explosives. The lack of demand for explosives generally means that there are no wars. Steamer convoys. Demand is probably really high, and then supply increased to meet the demand, and then oversupplied. Fabric's really high price. That's interesting. Fabric and cement seems to be what we need to produce. What's the price of coal? Price of coal is relatively high. Wool, low. Cotton, low. So yeah, fabric would definitely be a good investment. As would regular clothing. Wine, terrible investment. Opium, good one. Coffee, yeah. Tea. Tea is worth a lot. We have so many things that are going right for us right now. Wow, furniture's just died. That means that there must be a lot of wood around, which is weird, because usually there's almost none. Military goods, yeah, ammunition low, because there's no wars going on. The arms industry is just sunk into nothingness. No one's building armies. Might be because of all the rebels. There are very few troops around because they keep dying to rebel attacks. War games, more organisation. Mali goes bankrupt. Well, at least we haven't gone bankrupt yet. Like, I've had to be far more hands-on with my economy than I otherwise would be, but we haven't had any, no bankruptcies yet. You know what? I can actually check to see if it is the artisans that are struggling. If we go into population, select all, no, deselect all, and then artisans. Yeah. Except for the ones in Nanfaran making liquor, all of the rest of you have basically no money because you're not getting any of your other needs. You're getting some. Bureaucrats are fine. Oh, no, I want everyone. Let's try that again. Artisan, there we go. Yeah, artisans have, look at this, no money at all, no income, 0. So it's the artisans that are killing my middle class. And that's not surprising, they're just getting outproduced by the factories, except for you, you're making a lot of money. Luxury clothing in Hong Kong. It's because the price of luxury clothes is high. And then bureaucrats have some money, not a huge amount. There are 130 capitalists. Wenzhou and Canton. They don't have much money. Clergy. Clergy aren't doing too badly. I mean, they're getting squeezed because I keep on reducing the education funding. Clerks are doing okay. Now here's the big one. Labourers. Sorry, craftsmen. Craftsmen are okay. There's a couple of you with very little money. That's probably where the unemployment is really high. But we do pay unemployment subsidies now. Farmers are struggling, except doing really well in some places and horrifically struggling in others. Yeah, anyone that's producing tea is doing well. Oh, labourers are doing well. Any kind of mining, totally fine. And I think we have a lot of labourers. Officers, just fine. The officers are making tons of money. Most of them are even getting their luxuries. We have no slaves, despite slavery being legal. And then soldiers, also getting their luxuries. So our army is absolutely loving life right now. Everyone else, struggling. Right, let's get business regulations because that came with tax. No. Ad hoc money bill printing, which is more tax income. Money printing. We'll go with the older texts first because we get them done much, much quicker. And this hopefully makes the factories more competitive. Something I suspect they kind of need. Oh, bloody hell. I've gone way over on this episode. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play for another 10 minutes, which for you would actually be 10 minutes for the second episode. I'll just cut this one in half. 50 minutes, one episode. I mean, slightly too focused on what's happening here. Oh, another election. Roughly stable, slightly more communists. Slightly more anarcho-liberals, it's fine. We can do low subsidies. Means we're paying more and more money to those who are unemployed. But we're also making money now. So I think some of the pains from switching our population around is starting to lessen. Okay, admin efficiency, good. Business and regulations, tax efficiency and factory cost. Factory input, factory output. Ooh, that's all output. Actually, time-saving measures would be a pretty powerful one. That's more admin and tax efficiency. That's a 5% tax efficiency. We'll get business banks, and then I think time-saving measures. And yeah, this is definitely increasing my income. Needed to be done. Tax efficiency. Ooh, 30% morale. Nice. Pluralism. Nope. Make sure the army gets paid. Because this is quite a big uprising. Congo goes bankrupt. Oh, we have some people in Hong Kong. Yeah, you're going to deal with them. Marvellous! It's like I didn't even have to tell you. Excellent. Patriots fighting for the country. Radical Party is pro-military. So we need to maintain a constant vigilance in foreign affairs. Sounds about right. Yeah, man. Getting that. Liberal and narco-liberal got 51% of the vote. Communists and the socialists are growing. That means that we're going to have more and more communist and socialist agitators as well, which I don't like. We are, however, going to switch to radical. And yes, I know it pisses your people off whenever you switch government like that, but I feel that we require a little bit of direct control from Hong Kong. To make sure that we're as efficient as we could possibly be, or something like that. Well, we have people in Hong Kong. Can you go and kill those rebels in Hong Kong, please? Thank you. Oh, flipping hell. Military spending is through the roof. Spending on construction, machine parts. 2,500 on machine parts. What the hell? Why? Oh, it must be factory construction. Yeah. It's the capitalists building more. Oh no, it's the railroads. Why now? Why weren't we getting railroads before? It's a bit weird. Right, how are we doing here? Enough. Actually, let's go through them. You could do with more clerks. Let's keep this efficient, shall we? Jolly good. Right, uprising over? Uprising over. Pay more, less money even. Not more, less. We took about 20 grand in payment there. Minus 17% conservative, plus 6% liberal, 3% narco-liberal, 3% socialist, 1% communist. Oh dear. More tax efficiency, excellent, that means more money coming in. Now we can do the time-saving measures for the output efficiency. And hopefully this will allow our industry to grow. We're making a lot more money now. which we immediately then have to spend on the army. Awesome! These rebels are not annoying at all. That's definitely one system about Victoria I don't like. Is once the rebels start, there is no way of stopping them. You're just stuck with rebels for the rest of the game. Or else I just don't understand how the suppression works. But suppression just says, yeah, you can delay it, and then when they do next fire, they'll be even worse. Great, but how do I reduce unrest in any meaningful way? At least we're still making money, even though we're paying off our loans. And our military being so high probably means that we're squeezing even more money out of our people. Yeah, we are. Ooh. Sucks to be them. How's our military numbers? We could raise more troops, and we probably should. There we go, debt free. I'll wait until we have 10, 15,000 or 20,000 in the bank, and then I'm going to recruit some troops, I think. Which we should generate pretty quickly. I just want to do that to make sure we don't immediately jump into... Byzantine Empire has to... Ooh, crisis. India versus Siam, I think. Yeah. Byzantines are supporting India, as are Scandinavia. Byzantium and Scandinavia versus Mordgard. Mordgard would lose that one. Decrease subsidies so that people can get the resources they need. You know what, I'm going to go down to minus 15%. 20% would be really generous with the subsidies. Because this hopefully will mean that we can get more of the luxuries and things. So our people can be happier. Is that helping at all? Well, it's certainly suppressing the number of critically bad... Oh, yellow is life needs, red is none. So red are the ones who are starving right now. Right, armies. The number of troops available is definitely growing. So I'm going to grab 4 of them. I'm going to grab all of them. We're going to get... I still want hussars, never mind. We'll get 5 more artillery. And the rest is infantry. And yeah, losing money just because we're paying for the equipment right now. Then once we have the equipment, then everything else should improve. And there are the hussars. Mordgard has accepted the offer from the Byzantines for white peace. Time-saving measures is complete. Tax efficiency and cost. Let's do that. Then I think I might go for the steel railroad. Yeah, I think I will. It looks like a lot of factories are being built. A lot of them are still closed. But the factories we have are being extremely profitable. I mean, look at these. Yeah. Liberals are doing a better job of managing all of this. But we definitely needed to intervene just for that short time, just to open all the factories to make sure they had the opportunity at least to try and make some money. Because some of them would have been shut down during the war. The Mud March. The Hong Kong weather did its worst against us. Mud, mud, mud was its prominent feature, and it's well known among us afterwards as the Mud March. A female suffragette commented the elements during Mud March, a demonstration march which, just this past week, attracted over 3,000 women from various organisations, female textile workers, temperance advocates, artists, and many others, all coming together in a show of force for the women's liberation and suffrage on Hong Kong streets. A gay enough procession by most accounts, despite the weather. We must express our cordial understanding of and support for these sentiments. 5% more liberal. Yes, please. Ming nationalists. Easy enough to defeat. Alright, the other thing I want to do is get rid of any cavalry that we may still have. Okay, there are no cavalry at all in our forces. Interesting. Which means that I can go to the hussars and say I want 3 hussars. Marvellous. Let's get those guys done. An alliance offer from Dali. I don't even know where that is. Hey, Scandinavia. How you doing, buddy? Will not accept. They don't like the fact that we are radical liberals. Still communist Scandinavia. Oh dear. I have a feeling they're not looking too hot. I mean, these guys have been basically rebels for as long as I can remember. America's been rebel for as ages. Yeah, they must just not have much of a standing army. 800. Their army is fucking massive. They're just not doing anything with them. It's the second biggest army in the world. After the Byzantines. The Byzantines are really just running away with this. Mordgard is the only real competition there. Although, actually, Italy is growing pretty strongly. Yeah, Mordgard's slowed. Oh, we can do some more. Let's do extended subsidies. Because I want to make sure our unemployed remain wealthy enough to actually live. It's costing us something in social spending, but I think it's a worthy outgoing right now. Factory cost reduced. That's good. It looks like industrially we are looking a lot stronger than we were. Those output techs are quite important. Population's growing pretty quickly now too. 9% more liberal. 2% more anarcho-liberal. Wow, Conservatives are just losing so many people. I wish that was like the real election. Right, we are currently losing tons of cash. Why? What's happened? Oh, is it because we're still building troops? No, they're paid for. And we are now taking attrition, are we? You're not. You are. Split you in half. I'm going to say that you're the Hong Kong army. You can be based out of Hong Kong. No research set. We want more research points. Always get that one first. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode and also the last one. So technically this is the latter of 2 episodes for you guys, but this was all one long recording for me. So thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this so far, then please do hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, then do consider subscribing. And if you want other ways of supporting the channel, then please do check out the Patreon below. This is my full-time job, so I do have to kind of rely on that in making money. If you have any tips or advice for me, then do let me know in the comments below. And I think that's all I wanted to say. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.